Think about the smartest, most successful person you know. Not the loud one, not the one flexing online, not the one always talking about their goals. I'm talking about the quiet one. The person who barely posts, rarely brags, but somehow keeps winning. Better grades, better opportunities, better life trajectory. Here's the crazy part. They're not working harder than everyone else. They're thinking differently. Today, I'm breaking down the psychology of people who quietly outperform everyone and how you can become one of them without changing your personality. Let's kill a myth first. Top performers are not always the loudest. They're not always confident. They're not always extroverted. Most of them actually look normal, average, low-key, unremarkable. And that's their advantage, because while everyone else is busy proving themselves, they're busy improving themselves. I used to think success came from motivation, from hype, from big energy. But the people who pass everyone quietly, they move in silence. And that's not accidental. Here's why. Most people work harder when someone is watching. Deadlines, grades, parents, teachers, social media, that's external motivation. But high performers? They're driven internally. They don't need applause to show up. They don't need likes to stay consistent. They don't need validation to keep going. They'll study when no one cares, practice when no one's clapping, improve when no one's noticing. Because their brain isn't asking, how do I look? It's asking, how do I grow? And that mindset compounds. While others burn out chasing attention, they build quietly. Let me make this real. Ever had a classmate who barely talks in class, but always tops the exam? Yeah, that's this psychology. And the next part is even more powerful. Quiet high performers are obsessed with boring habits. Not dramatic routines, not aesthetic morning vlogs, not 5 a.m. miracle grind sets. Just simple, repeatable, unsexy habits, like studying 30 minutes daily instead of cramming, going to bed on time instead of scrolling, practicing skills even when motivation is dead. Meanwhile, most students live like this. Tomorrow I'll start. I'll do it when I feel ready. Let me just watch one more video. And suddenly, it's the night before the exam, the deadline is screaming, the stress hits. But quiet outperformers, they don't rely on motivation. They rely on systems. They don't ask, do I feel like it? They ask, is this what I do? And that shift changes everything. But here's the part nobody talks about. Quiet high performers don't just work harder. They think differently about time itself. Let's talk about that. Most people live in short-term mode. How do I survive this week? How do I pass this test? How do I avoid this stress? Quiet outperformers live in long-term mode. How does this decision affect me next year? How does this habit shape my future self? What skill compounds over time? So instead of chasing fast wins, they invest in slow growth. Instead of skipping sleep to finish work, they protect their energy so they stay sharp. Instead of flexing progress, they stay invisible and improve. This is why it feels like they suddenly succeed, but it wasn't sudden. It was silent consistency. And there's one more trait that separates them from almost everyone. Quiet high performers don't obsess over other people's lanes. They don't stalk classmates. They don't panic over someone else's progress. They don't spiral when others seem ahead. They compare themselves only to yesterday's version of themselves. That's it. And this protects their focus, because comparison kills momentum. It makes you rush. It makes you quit. It makes you feel behind even when you're improving. But when you stop watching everyone else, you move faster. Not because you're racing, but because you're not distracted. Now, let's turn this into something practical. Let's make this real. If you want to quietly outperform people around you, try this. Not all at once, just step by step. Step 1. Choose progress over praise. Do things that won't impress anyone right now, but will change your life later. Studying when nobody checks. Practicing when nobody cares. Showing up when nobody claps. That's where real growth lives. Step 2. Build one boring daily habit. Not 5, not 10, just one. Maybe 20 minutes of focused study, 10 minutes of reading, 15 minutes of skill practice. Tiny, repeatable, unnegotiable. Step 3. Stop announcing your goals. This one's uncomfortable, but powerful. Instead of saying, I'm going to start waking up early, just wake up early. Instead of posting, I'm grinding, just grind. Silence builds momentum. Step 4. Measure yourself weekly, not emotionally. Don't ask, how do I feel? Ask, did I improve? Track study hours, practice sessions, consistency streaks. Progress beats mood. That's how quiet people win. So here's the truth. People who quietly outperform everyone aren't special. They're not smarter, they're not luckier, they're not more talented. They're just less loud, more consistent, and deeply focused on becoming, not proving. And if you feel invisible right now, good. That's where growth happens. Tonight, try this. Don't change your whole life. Just pick one habit. Do it quietly. Repeat it tomorrow. That's how real confidence is built. Let's level up, silently, steadily, together.